25 reasons to do a degree apprenticeship. Let's go. Number one, you're going to be getting a free degree, which means no debt. So the average debt you're going to get from doing a university degree, which you're paying for, is about 44,000, 45,000. You'll have probably got a student loan, which means basically for up to the next 40 years of your life, you're going to have to be paying this back, which is a lot of debt to get into as like an 18 or 19-year-old. And basically with a degree apprenticeship, you're still going to university, you're still getting a degree, but you're getting it completely for free, which means you're not getting into all this debt. So if you can do the same thing but for free, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? Number two, on top of this free degree, you're going to be getting a salary. Okay, so in year one, salaries can be in the range of basically £20,000 to £25,000 in your first year. Some can be a bit more. And you can also get pay rises each year. So basically, this is literally just the starting salary, £20,000, £25,000. You're going to be getting pay rises at most companies each year. Some degree apprenticeships are quoting by the end of it, you're earning up to £40,000 after about 4 or 5 years. And basically what it means is you're going to be financially much better off than all of your peers. All of your peers at university, maybe they'll have a part-time job where they're in a cafe or something. Whatever they're doing, it's not going to be able to compare to the amount of money you're going to have with a £20,000, £25,000 starting salary that's basically increasing every year. And I just wanted to give you this example of Amazon. Amazon is one company where it's even bigger than that. They pay their apprentices up to $33,500 a year. Okay, so the salary is a massive reason to do a degree apprenticeship. Now, in a degree apprenticeship, you're going to get 3 to 5 years of work experience, which is going to be relevant to the company and the wider industry. The graduates aren't going to get this. The people who go to university aren't going to get this. And it means you're going to have this head start because you have this work experience. But in particular, this work experience is going to be relevant to the company and the wider industry. Let me give you an example. The civil engineering degree, like the university degree, they don't teach CAD. Okay, CAD is computer aided design, right? And it's how a lot of things are designed these days on computers. Like we don't use pencils and draw things. So if you're like designing a car, you're going to do it on a computer. You're not going to like get a pencil and a ruler out, right? They don't teach CAD at university. But guess what? For a lot of engineers, CAD is like the number one part of your job in the working world, right? So on a degree apprenticeship, you will be learning CAD, for example, if you're doing an engineering degree apprenticeship, because that's relevant to the company and relevant to the wider industry. What it means is on a degree apprenticeship, you're getting this work experience, which is going to look really good for your CV, and it's going to and it's just going to make you a really attractive candidate for jobs in the future, your career in the future. You're going to be getting this work experience, which is relevant to the company and the wider industry. People who go to university aren't going to be. They're potentially just going to be learning stuff from degrees, which isn't actually relevant to the company or like actually working, which means you're going to have a massive advantage there. With that 3 to 5 years of work experience you're going to be working on massive projects. You're going to be gaining a lot of skills that are relevant compared to a university degree where it might not even be relevant. Okay, now, at the end of your degree apprenticeship, you are virtually guaranteed a job at the end. Okay, let me put this into contrast. In contrast, retention on graduate schemes is actually low of 72%. So a graduate scheme is basically, that's a goal of a lot of people after university. You go to university, do your degree for 3 or 4 years, and then you go on to like what's called a graduate scheme, which is where you basically sign up with the company, and it's like 1, 2, 3 years. And then after your graduate scheme, you'll then get you'll potentially get a permanent job with the company and you can work for them, right? So graduate jobs are sort of like a early career sort of thing for people who've just gone to university. Well, with these graduate schemes, retention is currently a low of 72%. That means if you go on a graduate scheme and it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, once you get to the end, 1 in 4 of you isn't going to get to stay with that company. Okay, and that's very low. Compare that to degree apprenticeships. You're virtually guaranteed a job at the end. This isn't something you have to worry about. You don't have to finish university, try and get in a graduate scheme. You don't have to do the graduate scheme and then try and get retained at a low of 72%. You're basically, as long as you do your job properly, you're virtually guaranteed to a job at the end, which is another advantage of doing a degree apprenticeship. Now, you're going to make lots of friends at university. There's a misconception that, on a degree apprenticeship, because you're not going to university, you're not going to have any friends or whatever. That's not true. You're going to make loads of friends at university because you're going to know everyone in your class, okay? With university, the classes can be massive. You're all sat there in massive lecture halls. With degree apprenticeships, usually the classes are a lot smaller. Like, they could be more, compared to like 100, they could be like 30 people in a class. What it means is you're going to know everyone in your class, basically. And you're all doing the same thing. You're all doing the degree apprenticeships. So you're going to make loads of friends. You're going to be able to do stuff with those. So, basically, on the nights before block release or day release days, for example, degree apprentices can meet up and go restaurants or go go-karting. That's what people do on my course. They go like go-karting on the evenings before a university day, and then they like go out on the night of university. So I'll tell you a story that there was one day in lectures in the morning. 2 people didn't turn up because, not to get graphic or anything, but they'd been sick in their bed because they'd all gone out clubbing and drank loads of alcohol, right? So they'd been sick in their bed. And there was this other girl who basically, not even a word of a joke, in this morning lecture, every 15 minutes she would just run out the room and then like 5 minutes later just come back in. and then 15 minutes later just run out the room and then come back in. I didn't even know what's going on. I asked someone what's going on here. Apparently she drank so much alcohol that every 15 minutes she was going to be sick in the toilet. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and become a degree apprentice and drink loads of alcohol and be sick in the toilet every 5 seconds. But what I'm trying to say is you can make loads of friends at university. I just want to get rid of that misconception that you're not going to have any friends because you're not going to university. It's like you're going to have all your friends in your university class. You can do stuff with in evenings, do stuff during the day, lunch, restaurants, go-karting, paintballing, all this sort of thing, right? And another person I know from my degree apprentice course, they just messaged me on a Sunday because they needed someone for their Sunday league football team, right? So you're going to make loads of friends. Don't worry about that. That is one of the advantages of a degree apprenticeship. And on top of that, you're a full-time member of the university, okay? So I know you've got a full-time job and you're not at university all the time. But you still have a university ID card. You still have a university email address. You are a member officially of the university. It means you can take part in university clubs, societies, music bands, sports teams, whatever they offer at the university, you can do that. So I know a girl she's part of the lacrosse team of the university. She's a degree apprentice, right? This is a picture here where I got invited to a university football tournament, right? And that's me there in that orange t-shirt there. Everyone else was wearing like black t-shirts. I'm the only one because I was in like an away kit. I was in some like funky orange shirt, right? You can do this even if you're a degree apprentice. You can still take part in all these university activities and like social activities and that sort of thing. So degree apprenticeships, there's a lot of people saying the problem is you're not going to get a degree from a very good university. Well, you can get a degree from a good university, okay? So yes, there are degree apprenticeships who are with some other universities who aren't as like prestigious, but if like you really care about like where your degree is from, you can still get it from a Russell Group university. Russell Group universities are basically a group of like the top universities in the UK. If you do care about where your degree is from, then don't worry, you can still do a degree apprenticeship. There's 3 here which do degree apprenticeships: Warwick, Exeter, and then Queen Mary in London. You can still get degree apprenticeships from these Russell Group's universities. So if that's like a limiting belief right now, you don't want to do a degree apprenticeship because you've heard that it's with not as good universities. Yes, there's some degree apprenticeships which are with not as good universities, but if like this is literally a massive criteria on your list, Russell Group, don't worry, you can still get it done. These are just 3 examples of Russell Group universities that do degree apprenticeships. Now, with degree apprenticeships, they are all industry approved like apprenticeship standards, okay? What this means is all degree apprenticeships, they've basically involved the employers in creating these apprenticeships, like creating the curriculum, what you're going to learn, all that sort of thing. The reason for that is because obviously in a degree apprenticeship, you're working in the working world. These companies want you to have the right skills, right knowledge. What this means is you're going to be learning the exact things employers are looking for. Okay, so you can see some screenshots. These are just some like random like degree apprenticeship standards, right? These are the sort of companies which like helped create these standards, okay? So Tata Consulting Services, right? Bentley, AstraZeneca, Barclays, IBM, right? Accenture, Capgemini, right? You are going to be learning things which these employers are actively looking for. So again, it's not like you're going to university and learning some random thing which isn't even relevant to the working world. All this stuff is going to be relevant because the companies themselves have basically said, this is what we want to be taught in the apprenticeship standard because this is what we're looking for. So it's basically going to make you really attractive as a like a candidate for jobs in the future because you have done this apprenticeship, which is literally what's what I'm looking for, endorsed by these companies. Like let's say you wanted to work for IBM in the future, you literally have a apprenticeship endorsed by IBM. Okay, so why wouldn't they want you, right? So that's a massive advantage for you as a person to put on your CV, is you're going to be having this apprenticeship like degree, this apprenticeship standard, which these employers have actively said, yes, this is good, this is what we want. Another one, you can travel around on the weekends to visit your friends at university. Okay, so this is a big one. A lot of degree apprentices do this. Is basically you finish on a Friday and then you basically go on the train to one of your old friends from like school and just go to their place at university, and then you stay on the Friday night, the Saturday night, come back on the Sunday, right? So again, I just want to destroy this limiting belief that on a degree apprenticeship you don't have any social life, you got no friends, because it's like in weekends, this is like if you ask most degree apprentices, they'll be aware of this sort of like lifestyle sort of thing. Is basically just every now and then on weekends you just go and visit your friends at university, right? Like I know that train ticket prices can be jarring, but as I said earlier, we have a salary that starts like 20,000, 25,000 in the first year. It's not the end of the world, right? So here's just some random photos of me where I've gone places on the weekend. you can just go to these places, visit your friends. Like, this is the student accommodation of one of my friends, and I like cooked steak in his like university kitchen for the first time. You can go there Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, all that sort of thing, no problem. Okay. With degree apprenticeships, there are opportunities at massive companies. Okay, so I've put these down here. These are like some of the biggest companies in these respective industries. All of these companies do degree apprenticeships. Okay, so right now, degree apprenticeships are such a big thing that literally, if you have a think about like what big company would I want to work at in the future, quite likely they have a degree apprenticeship. Okay, so there's loads of opportunities at these massive companies, and basically means if you want to work at like Amazon, you literally can. Okay. If you want to work at like PwC, you can on an apprenticeship. And then second of all, it's a prestigious name on your CV. So even after your degree apprenticeship, you can literally say, as I said earlier, you've got this like 4 years work experience, but it's not just 4 years work experience, 4 years work experience with JLR, right? 4 years work experience with PwC. If you get 4 years work experience with KPMG, in the finance industry, that's going to make you very attractive as a candidate. I have 4 years work experience with JLR, 4 years work experience with Rolls-Royce. That's going to make you very attractive in the engineering industry if you're trying to move to a future thing, right? A lot of what people do, by the way, people do engineering or technology degree apprenticeships with JLR, okay? Then they move to F1. Okay, this is like a real thing. JLR degree apprentices, they go through degree apprenticeship with JLR, and then they move to an F1 team. So if this is, I know this is a very specific thing, but if you're watching this right now, you're interested in engineering, right? And like you like F1, like imagine working for like Red Bull or Mercedes or McLaren or that sort of thing. There are a lot of JLR degree apprentices who finish their degree apprenticeship. They've got like 4 years JLR work experience. They've got 4 years work experience in the engineering industry, and it's from JLR. That makes them a super attractive candidate to go to these F1 teams like Red Bull and Mercedes. So just to throw that out there. But you're going to have opportunities at massive companies. These all do degree apprenticeships, and you have that prestigious name on your CV, which is going to make you a very attractive candidate. Now, just quickly, I know we're in the middle of the video, but just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Owen. I'm a degree apprentice, and I help degree apprentices. So last year, I help degree apprentices I help people get loads of offers for degree apprenticeships. I help people get offers from JLR, HSBC, KPMG, Rolls-Royce, Amazon, a lot of the companies which you saw on the previous slide. So if you are interested in doing a degree apprenticeship, I just wanted to do a quick plug. Go down and click the first link in the description. That's where I can help you get a degree apprenticeship from some of these big companies which you can see here. Okay, so let's move on to the next one now. First link in the description. So on a degree apprenticeship, you have the flexibility to move out or stay at home. Okay, so if you want to relocate and move out, that's absolutely fine. It means you can basically access degree apprenticeships anywhere in the country. Okay, so say you live in Manchester, you don't have to do a degree apprenticeship in Manchester. You could get a degree apprenticeship in London, right? Because you can move out, relocate, go live in London, and then do degree apprenticeship there. So you have that flexibility. But also with a degree apprenticeship, there is the opportunity to stay at home. And if you stay at home, there's a huge cost and time saving. Okay, because if you move out and have to go rent somewhere else, right, it could be like £1,000 a month rent that you're having to pay. Obviously, you have your salary, so that's perfectly fine. You can do that. But if you stay at home, it basically means that's could be like an extra £12,000 a year, plus like bills, which you're saving. Like maybe if you stay at home with your parents, they might charge you a bit of rent or a bit of board or that sort of thing, but it's not going to be anywhere near to like commercial rent, £1,000, that sort of thing. And again, it's a time saving. If you live on your own and like you've moved out, you're gonna have to spend loads of time cooking and doing like cleaning and doing all this sort of thing. Whereas at home, yeah, sure, you'll help with the chores, but you won't have to do it as much. Like you won't be cooking every single meal for yourself because your parents will probably be cooking most meals. Okay, so with the degree apprenticeship, that's another one of the advantages. You have the opportunity to stay at home, which gives you a huge cost and time saving. Okay, another one for social events. Your company pays for social events. Let me give some examples. Early career socials, they do this a lot at the start in your first year. Is like they get all the graduates, degree apprentices, like placement students, and they all just like go to a restaurant, go to a bar or something and do a social. Team socials, the people in your team. Project socials, so I'm working on a current project, and about every 3 months they have like a budget to like take everyone who works on that project to some sort of social. So they haven't decided where they're going to do it yet. It's either going to be like we go to a restaurant or we go like bowling or something like that. But that's what they can be done. There's a budget, which means it's paid for. I don't have to pay for it. Again, go-karting, bowling, paintballing, it's not all restaurants, bars, there are activities that they do as well. And then also paid for Christmas parties and summer parties. So they have a budget for Christmas parties. I actually organised the Christmas party for my company last year, and I had a budget that I had to work to, and it basically meant that you don't have to pay for it. right? So there's another opportunity. People from university aren't going to get that. Every time they go and do a social, they're going to have to pay for it with their own money, which they don't have. You have money because you have this salary and a free degree, but even then, it's like your company is paying. Like, you're going to get a free Christmas party every single year, and every now and then you're going to be getting these early careers socials, team socials, project socials, and all that sort of thing. So that's another benefit of the degree apprenticeship. Now, on top of it, I mentioned earlier, you're going to make new friends at university. You're also going to make new friends at work. Okay, so you're going to make friends with the other degree apprentices, other employees in your office, all this sort of thing. You're going to make new friends, which means you can go out for lunch and dinner. So a couple of months ago, no, it would have been last month, a bunch of degree apprentices in my office all went out for lunch and went to like a restaurant, right? So that's the sort of thing you can do. And then this is actually one that I do a lot, is I just do loads of sporting stuff with people at work, right? So go in gym, playing squash, badminton, football. So go in gym, there was about a period of like 2 months where me and someone from my office, basically every Friday morning, we get to the gym at like 7 a.m. and we do this workout. It's called like the Adonis Protocol workout. And we just do this workout together. Then we'd walk to the office every Friday morning for like the space of 2 months. I've also played squash with people from the office, badminton, football. Like a lot of companies have like a five-a-side football team, so that's what I've played a lot for, basically five-a-side football with other people from the company. I've played for like other companies because other companies have been like short of players, so I've just been like, yeah, I can play for you, sure, and played football with them. So there's loads of social opportunities there as well with people from work. You're gonna be able to make loads of friends and do loads of different stuff with them there. Another thing with degree apprenticeships is a lot of them are industry accredited by the end of the apprenticeships. What this means is you can basically become part of an institution at the end of your apprenticeship, okay? Because your degree apprenticeship standards, as I mentioned earlier, they've basically been created by these employers to match certain things. They've also been created alongside professional institutions. For example, the Institution of Civil Engineers, the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, right? Like the Institute of Chartered Tax Accountants, like all different examples like that. And these have different titles. So, for example, Chartered Engineer, Incorporated Engineer, Chartered Accountant, all these sort of things. Basically, a lot of these degree apprenticeships are industry accredited and they match some of these job titles. If you have an engineer and an incorporated engineer is going to be making more money because an incorporated engineer means you like meet a certain standard, okay? Anyone can be an engineer, but to be an incorporated engineer, you have to be a good one. Similarly, okay, you're a banker or you're a chartered banker. A chartered banker, you're going to make more money because you are proven to be of a certain quality. So a lot of degree apprenticeships are industry accredited by the end of your apprenticeship. For example, in the civil engineering degree apprenticeship, you are eligible to be an incorporated engineer. At the end of your apprenticeship, you just straight away become an incorporated engineer. Okay, and there's other ones where you can be like an associated chartered banker. Check these for your degree apprenticeship, but that's another benefit. People from university coming out of it, they're going to have to do extra stuff to become an incorporated engineer. But at the end of your apprenticeship, in some degree apprenticeships, you're going to automatically become an incorporated engineer, which basically just proves, it makes you very attractive as a candidate because it proves you are of a certain quality because you have to like pass an exam to be incorporated. And it also means you can just earn more money, right? Because an incorporated engineer makes more money than a normal engineer. Okay, degree apprenticeships in general require lower A-level grades. Okay, so 2 examples here. For example, if I know one degree apprenticeship in particular where the university equivalent, to get that same degree, the university equivalent, it was A-star AA. When this was a degree apprenticeship, it dropped down to AAA. And now this is actually high. Like there's only one degree apprenticeship which I've actually seen do. So this, by the way, this is the civil engineering degree apprenticeship. For a particular university, the university requirements were A-star AA. For just the degree apprenticeship itself, it was 3 A's. Most of them follow this, okay? That's what most degree apprenticeship requirements are, roughly. It's basically the university equivalent. Normally, you'd have to get 3 A's. Okay, so say, for example, it was like computer science or mechanical engineering or something. Normally, you'd need 3 A's. In a lot of degree apprenticeships, you only need like a BBC, like on average, or maybe even a B and a C or a BBB. It's sort of around this range, but you can see there it's much lower than what would be required for university. So straight away, that means it basically means it's accessible to more people. So maybe you don't have 3 A stars. Maybe you have like A, B. Potentially, you might not be able to do the thing at a specific university, but you could do the degree apprenticeship equivalent. Okay, so that basically makes this option open to you. But second of all, it just means there's going to be less stress for exams. Like, think about the people who are going to like Oxford and they need like 3 A stars. They're going to be stressing about exams. That's not going to be fun for them. When they're in an exam and they get like a bad question, they're going to start panicking and all this sort of thing. When you can, like, the freedom where you can go into an exam and know I need a B, and a C, it makes it so much easier. Okay, because there's just less stress because like I could literally do so much stuff wrong, and as long as I get a B, B, and a C, I'm getting through to my degree apprenticeship. Okay, so that's another advantage. You need lower grades in general for a degree apprenticeship than university. Okay, so another advantage of a degree apprenticeship is you're going to be learning through doing. Okay, because on a degree apprenticeship, you're in a full-time job, you're working. It basically means you're learning through doing activities, and you can apply your knowledge practically. Okay, compared to university, where you just sort of have to learn it all theoretically and not do anything, right? Like think about school. Did you actually enjoy school? Let's be honest. Did you enjoy the parts of school where it was just your teacher just talking at you? Like maybe when you did chemistry, for example, you enjoyed where you did like the experiments, you got like the Bunsen burners out, and like you got like the water jugs out, and then you poured like the acid in and all that. So like that was fun, right? That was when you were doing things. What about in chemistry when it was just your teacher just talking at you, just saying, "Oh, this is how you do like reduction, oxidization equations," right? That was probably kind of boring, right? That's basically the equivalent comparison of university and degree apprenticeships. University is a lot more just university is a lot more just learning and just theoretical and whatever. Degree apprenticeship is like everything you're learning, you're going to be applying practically, you're going to be doing stuff, you're going to be doing activities. It's just a lot more fun. And on top of being a lot more fun and like less boring, it also could just be better for you because a lot of people learn better through doing and applying knowledge practically than just like sort of getting told things and having to feed in that information. So as well as being more fun, it probably actually could be a better form of learning for you in particular if you prefer learning through doing and applying it practically. Now, I mentioned graduate schemes earlier, a bit more on graduate schemes. Many struggle to get into these graduate schemes after university. Okay? There's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, there were 33% less graduate vacancies in September this year than there were last year. Okay, so that's why. So there's like however many hundreds of thousands of people graduating from university each year, and they all have to squeeze into these vacancies, right? Which is why a lot of people struggle. Some people are left like 1, 2, 3 years after university not managing to get into a graduate job. The problem is there's 33% less graduate vacancies. Basically, year on year, the number of vacancies for graduates is getting less. Okay. In comparison with degree apprenticeships, there's basically more and more vacancies every year. Like companies are literally just increasing how many degree apprentices they do because they're seeing it is better for them. They actually prefer to hire degree apprentices, okay, than graduates, right? So just doing more and more degree apprenticeship vacancies, more and more companies, right? And then the other thing on top of that vacancies is just graduate schemes are highly competitive, highly competitive. Okay, for example, the civil service graduate scheme, 2% of applicants get in. Right, engineering sector 2.5% get in. Finance sector on average 1% of applicants get in. This means right here for the finance sector, if you're applying to a job, you need to be better than you're competing with 99 other people, which means you need to be better than 99 other people. You have to be like the very best. Okay, they're super competitive, and it basically means you can go to university, sure, get your debt, all this sort of thing, and then it might not even be worth it because you don't even get like a graduate job after it. Right, or you take like 2 or 3 years to get like a graduate job just because there's not many vacancies and they are so competitive. Okay. Apprenticeships are great for career progression. Okay, so I noticed this like anecdotally, a lot of the senior managers that I've been talking to at my company, they just happen to be apprentices. Right, and I'm like, okay, well that's interesting. And then I actually this isn't just an anecdotal thing I saw. I actually found a statistic: 30% of senior managers at Rolls-Royce started as apprentices. Okay, so Rolls-Royce is like an engineering company, and I'm sure that'll be similar across like the whole industry, right? Basically means it's great for career progression, and these are just normal apprenticeships, okay? So degree apprenticeships are actually quite a new thing in the last decade or so. These are just apprentices from like 20, 30 years ago who were just doing like a normal, like not a degree, just like you're just doing an apprenticeship. So this is likely going to be even better, a degree apprenticeship, because without the degree, already apprenticeships were great for career progression and were helping a lot of people become senior managers and like big names in the company. Now we're adding the degree in, it's basically going to be even better. Okay, so degree apprenticeships are great for career progression because you're going to be getting that work experience, all that sort of thing. You're going to be in the company from like potentially the age of 18, age of 19, basically getting like 4 or 5 years work experience on top of like before the university people do it, so that they are great for career progression. Okay, another advantage is you're going to be able to make a difference. Okay, this might be something that you don't care about, fair enough, right? Or this might be something that you actually like this is a big thing, right? Because in university, you're sort of just going to be doing random things like, oh, they're going to set you an assignment and you do an assignment. You do an experiment, you do an experiment. It's like, okay, fine, whatever, who cares? There's nothing anyone hasn't done before. In a degree apprenticeship, you're going to be doing actual work, which is making a difference and probably leaving a positive impact on the world. Okay, and you're going to be able to see the impact you are making. For example, I was doing a design in January. That design is now currently being built. Okay, I've seen site photos where it is basically used, like they are building my design. I designed it, submitted it, it went through, and now they're building it. Okay, so I can see the impact you're making. I've literally seen the site, they got a drone, and they went over site, and I could see the drone photo of the thing I designed. They are building it right now. Okay, and there's another design I did, which they will be building in the next couple of months. Like, I'm actually, compared to university, if they set me some random task, it's like, okay, the lecturer's going to mark it, and then whatever, nothing's going to happen to it. On a degree apprenticeship, the work I'm doing is actually making a difference, and I can see that impact. That might be something that's really important to you. Okay, another one is going to build a network. So in the working world especially, it is who you know, not what you know. Okay, so who you know is super important. If you know people and you have a network, it's going to set you up for opportunities in the future. Okay, because basically when an opportunity comes up, like say there's a new project that comes up and they need a designer, okay, they're going to think, who do I know who is a designer? Oh, he's a good designer, I'm going to go to him. So it's the person who like has a network, who people know, right? They are the ones who get the opportunities. If you don't know anyone, then no one's going to know you to give you opportunities. When you're in degree apprenticeship, because you're going to be in the company for like 3, 4, or 5 years, you're going to be able to build this network. You're going to be able to get to know people from other parts of the business, other offices, your office, all this sort of things, and basically going to set you up for opportunities in the future, because maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, some project like comes up, they can be like, oh yeah, you know what, he'd be a good fit, I remember him, I know him, let's go with him. And you wouldn't have got that opportunity otherwise. Okay, and in a degree apprenticeship, you're going to be able to get this opportunity. So let me give you an example. There's this project I know our company is potentially going to be working on in about 4 years' time. Okay, so what I did was, when I knew this, I basically got to know the person who's going to be leading this project. And this is like 4 years in advance, right? I don't need to do this, right? But when I heard, oh, there's like a project I'm interested in, I want to do this in about 4 years' time. So I was like, okay, let me get to know the person who's running the project. So I got to know the person who's running the project. I was able to build my network with him. That means in like 4 years' time, when that project actually happens, potentially he's going to think of me, and it basically means I could have the opportunity in the future. Okay, so that's a really good thing about degree apprenticeship. You're going to be able to build that network. Another one is developing your skills. Okay, in degree apprenticeship, of course, you're going to develop your skills to do with your actual job. So if you're an engineer, you're going to be able to develop those engineering skills, those design skills, those problem-solving skills, skills which are super crucial to your job. If you're doing like an accounting degree apprenticeship, you're going to learn like those numerical skills, those accounting skills, things that are relevant to your job. But on top of that, you're going to learn soft skills, okay? For example, teamworking skills, collaboration skills, right? And in particular, I wanted to focus on confidence and public speaking skills, okay? Because in the working world, in general, just communication. In the working world, you're going to learn, you have to like talk to so many people, random people. You can get told, oh, okay, talk to this person. You have to call this random person. You have to like do this presentation. You have to host this meeting, all this sort of thing. You're going to learn so many communication skills. In the modern world, where like literally 90% of the population are socially awkward, this is a massive advantage to you, okay? Because you are going to have confidence, you're going to have public speaking skills. People are scared of public speaking, but it's like in a degree apprenticeship, you'll have probably had to speak to a whole bunch of people. You've had to lead a presentation, host a meeting like 100 times. And it basically means you have confidence, you have public speaking skills, you know how to work effectively within a team, you know how to collaborate, you know how to communicate. So you have these skills for your job. You also have a whole bunch of soft skills, which are going to make you like very attractive as a candidate if you want to go somewhere else in the future. But it just means you're going to have these skills, and it's going to be a head start in life, okay? Not just like, I put this after the skills one, because effectively, you're going to be more confident, more public speaking skills than a graduate. Okay, you can probably take the average like graduate, and I would be more confident in hosting a meeting or like communicating with a new team of people or a client or something like that. I would be more confident than them, okay? Because I'm in a degree apprenticeship doing this every day. They're in university where they've never talked to a client before or like someone in their team. Okay, so in general, you're just going to have a head start in life ahead of graduates. So basically, if you do a 4-year degree apprenticeship compared to someone who's like, I don't know, they took a gap year and then 3 years at university, you're going to be ahead of them in terms of money. They're in debt, you've got a 20, 25, 30,000 pound salary every single year. They've never had work experience before. Maybe they did some summer placement. Cool. You've got 4 years work experience working on a whole bunch of projects, doing like really relevant work experience. You've got a network within the company. You know loads of people. You can get these opportunities. This is their first time joining the company. They don't know anyone, right? And then again, you have these skills, both relevant to your job, but also soft skills like communication and all this sort of thing. You're literally going to be ahead of graduates the same age. Like, you're literally getting a head start in life by the time you finish a degree apprenticeship compared to someone who's finished university and they're just like somehow managing to get on a graduate scheme and all that sort of thing. You're getting that head start, okay? Many companies offer flexible working arrangements. Okay, so this is an advantage which might be interesting to you. If you want to work from home, a lot of companies that do degree apprenticeships do offer working from home. Okay, this is definitely one to check because a lot of companies have like different policies. Some you'd be able to work from home 5 days a week. Some you can only work from home 3 days a week. Some you can't work from home at all. But many companies do offer these flexible working arrangements, which is an advantage of a degree apprenticeship if this is something that matters to you. It means you might be able to work from home. And also flexible hours. For me, I go into the office every day. I don't really care about working from home. But flexible hours is an important one to me. So it means sometimes I can start at 7, finish at 3:30. Sometimes I can start at 9:30, finish at 6. And that's a big one for me. But that's one of the advantages of a degree apprenticeship, is they have that flexibility. A lot of these companies in terms of working arrangements and hours. But make sure you check that with the company that you want to get a degree apprenticeship from. Now, this is an interesting one. There's a lot of and there's no clear answer on this from what I've found, but I wanted to just include this as one anyway, just because it sort of might be interesting. There seems to be a consensus that apprentices cannot be made redundant. Okay, so redundancies are a massive thing. Obviously, the economy isn't necessarily amazing right now. Inflation, all this sort of thing, etc., etc. Redundancies are a big thing. For example, Deloitte, at the end of last year, they made 150 graduates redundant. Okay, so imagine that. You go to university, you get into all this debt for your degree, you somehow manage to get into a graduate scheme even though they're super competitive. But then by the time you get to the graduate scheme, they just make you redundant. And it's like, what was the point of going to university? What was the point of all that? There seems to be a consensus that degree apprenticeships cannot be made redundant. It's basically due to some legal thing, like they've agreed to put you on this training agreement, they can't make you redundant. I've been digging into it, and there's a lot of conflicting sources. I'd say it's 75% of sources agree that you can't be made redundant. 25% say you can. So it's I'm not really sure if it is or not, but this is definitely one to just consider. Say this is true, that you cannot be made redundant. That is unparalleled job security. There's basically no other job in the whole world which is as secure as that. To get into a degree apprenticeship and not be made redundant, because any job can be made redundant. If you're in the engineering industry, the technology industry, the finance industry, all of those, to be honest, at any point can just get made redundant wherever you are in your journey. Okay, whether you're 22 and on a graduate scheme, whether you're 40, whether you're 60, you can get made redundant. Okay, it's always that risk that is there. If this is true in the degree apprenticeship, which it might actually be true, you can't be made redundant. That is unparalleled job security. You can't get anywhere else. Okay. Which basically, that's a massive reason to do a degree apprenticeship, because it's 4 or 5 years, but you're guaranteed to not get made redundant. You can't find another job anywhere where it has that job security. So that's just why I wanted to include that one. Now, you can get one-on-one support from industry professionals. This is not something you're going to be able to access at university. Let me give you 2 examples. Number one, at my job, I basically talk to and am mentored by an incorporated engineer, and I talk to him every single day. Okay, compare that to someone at university who's learning their degree. They're not going to be able to get as much information. I can ask any questions I want, get help with anything from him, and I talk to him every single day. Okay, so my learning is like that. Okay, compared to someone at university, or their learning is kind of linear, right? Because they're learning a new thing every day. But mine's exponential, right? Because I can I'm literally shadowing an incorporated engineer. Every single day I can see how he does things. He can teach me about this. He can teach me about this. I can learn all these things, get these opportunities from him. Every single day I'm talking to an incorporated engineer. That you're not going to get that on university. You're only going to get that with a degree apprenticeship. Number 2, and this links back to network as well. At your company, there's so many industry professionals that you can just talk to. So for example, I had one university assignment where I had to write an essay, and I wanted to get a bit of extra information. So what I did was, I called someone in my company who's a few levels up. I messaged them and then called them, and we had a call basically. And they were talking me through some extra things about the topic I had to write an essay on. Okay, And that's that one-on-one support I wouldn't have been able to get. If I got that essay at university, I would have sort of had to just deal with what I had and just like try and do the essay. But I was able to get extra information, which basically helped make my essay better because I was able to call this industry professional, like this expert in my industry. Okay. For this video, I wanted to tell you what grade I got. Like the feedback was supposed to be, it was supposed to come in last Friday, but like the teacher's late and they haven't sent the feedback yet, so I can't tell you what grade I got. But the essay was much better because I was able to get this one-on-one support from industry professionals. You are not going to get that during university. Now that was the last one. Those were 25 reasons why you should do a degree apprenticeship. Hope you found this video useful. Just one final plug. If you're interested in getting a degree apprenticeship yourself, it helps people get offers from JLR, KPMG, Amazon, Rolls-Royce, companies like that, then feel free to click the first link in the description. We've had some insane results. You can just have a look at some of these testimonials that I've got here. But I hope this video has helped. Have a great rest of your day. See you in a bit. Peace out.